Hello everybody, it's Tim again here with another movie review, this time for Avengers Endgame. A few days off on this one, I just now got to see the movie. I'll just go ahead and give my rating. I'd give it 3.5 out of 4. This is a pretty good flick. It's not as good as Infinity War, it's not, but it's pretty good. The problem with this film, and once you step into this flick, is the same thing that troubles a lot of apocalyptic films. Like, once you showed, like, the end of the world, like in Infinity War, and all the big action and all that, how do you up that and make it as cool and as interesting going forward with another chapter? That's the problem that the Stand faced. That's the problem that this faces in game. And let me say, this is not a bad movie. It's not. There's great, wonderful, amazing parts in this film. There are, and there's really cool stuff in this flick. And if you're an MCU fan, it does justice to like being an ending for the MCU. Honestly, I wish there wouldn't be any more MCU films after this. But they're gonna milk the franchise, and why shouldn't they? I mean, all of us, people like me who are fans of it, we still want to see more. So why the hell not? But yeah, it picks up after Infinity War. They're trying to figure out what to do. They go after Thanos on his planet. He's wounded after destroying the Infinity Stones, so nobody else can use him. And Thor takes him out by chopping his head off. He skipped 5 years. Scott Lang shows up, Ant-Man, played by Paul Rudd, who is an actor I like. I always like Paul Rudd, even in bad movies. But he shows up out of the quantum realm that he went into at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp. He's here. He's like in the future, 5 years later. And you can see how all the characters are doing, and I love what they do with Thor. Chris Hemsworth is hilarious. This dude is great at comedy. He needs to just do comedies like non-stop. He's real fat and out of shape, and he's like playing online gaming, and this dude keeps like cussing him and his friends out, and he gets on there and he's like, listen, this is the God of Thunder, and if you don't stop talking like that, I'm going to show up at your house, rip your arms off them, shove them up your butt. That was hilarious. What they do with Chris Hemsworth here is really funny. One of the problems with this film is you're getting all the characters together again, and I like that they evolve Iron Man's character. He has a daughter now, and I believe she is in the comics, Morgan Stark, and I like the way they do that here. That was a cool idea, and I like how it evolves his character, and I love what they do with Hulk here as well, how he is like Professor Hulk now. He's not as powerful as the Smart Hulk. He's pretty much merged with his Banner self, and I'm not even sure if he can even turn back into Banner anymore. They don't really go into that here. I guess they will in a later film, but yeah, it's really cool seeing him here as Professor Hulk, seeing him as a Smart Hulk, because these kids like walk up to him and like, Mr. Hulk, can we have your autograph? And he's like, yeah, sure. And Paul Rudd's sitting there and he's like, well, don't you want Ant-Man's autograph? And they're like, no. And Hulk's like, come on, come on, for take a picture with him. He keeps trying to insist on him doing it. And he's like, I don't want to take it. They don't want to take a picture with me. It was a really funny scene. I can't do it justice, but it was really funny. Yeah, all the actors do a good job to great job. One thing though, Captain Marvel is here, and I didn't just. Brie Larson just does not gel with the rest of this team. She doesn't feel like she's earned her spot yet with the rest of the group. But I will say this, when she shows back up at the end of the film, it really surprised me because I completely forgot about her character, because she goes missing for a frig load of this flick. And when she shows back up at the end of it, just out of nowhere from space, it was really cool. Because she like goes off into space towards the beginning of the movie to help out other planets and stuff, and she shows back up at the end as like the cavalry, and that was really cool. And when she showed back up, I thought she did a good job. I enjoyed seeing her. I liked her at the end of the film. Now, we get into the film, so they want to do a time travel thing so they can go back in time, collect the Infinity Stones before this happened, and use them to basically snap again and bring everyone back that was lost. I like what they do with Hawkeye's character here, how they evolve him, how he's Ronin now. Pretty much a samurai without a master. I believe that's what it is. And he's like going around just like killing people and taking them out left and right. Bad guys, of course, because his family disappears. And I like how the film starts out with Hawkeye like shooting arrows with his family, and then they disappear when he turns his back. That was cool. It helps set the mood for the film. Well, one thing leads to another, and they decide to go to the quantum realm basically. And well, they learn how to use the quantum realm thanks to Robert Downey Jr. I will say one thing: Robert Downey Jr. is great. He's very charismatic. Like, Captain America's probably my favorite Avenger as of now, but Iron Man is my favorite. Well, Robert Downey Jr. is my favorite actor in this franchise. He is great in these movies, and he's just so charismatic that when he's missing from the screen for a long period of time, I had the same problem in Infinity War. It does start to hurt the films a little bit because you do start to miss him. At least I do. When they go back in time, another thing, they go to like multiple different time periods so they can collect the stones at different times, and it's really cool seeing, they basically do like the Back to the Future 2 thing. If you've seen Back to the Future 2, and Terminator Genesis did this as well. They go back in time and they're like looking at things from different angles, events from the first Avengers and stuff like that, which was pretty funny. And they're going around collecting the stones and everything. It's kind of cool. You get to see Loki again from the original film. from the original Avengers, and it was neat seeing him again, Tom Hiddleston. And they're collecting the stones, and it does get to be a little complicated with the time travel plot. If you haven't watched a lot of time travel movies, you probably will have a pretty hard time following this. At certain points, I was like, is this like regular Iron Man I'm seeing? Is this like, the future Iron Man that we know, or is this like the past Iron Man now that we're seeing right here? It did come a little confusing every now and then, but you'll get the idea if you pay attention, you'll get what's going on. But it is kind of complex, and that's the problem with this film. There's not like the sense of urgency that there was in Infinity War. You don't feel the sense of like apocalyptic urgency here that you did in Infinity War, because there's no like main bad guy like going around beating up everybody and all that. Thanos is like not even in like the first half of this movie. He's at the beginning when he's like already half dead because he used the Infinity Stones to destroy the Infinity Stones, and it basically almost killed him before Thor kills him, finishes him off. And there's no sense of urgency because there's no main villain here. So it's just pretty much just like a time travel adventure, and it's fun. And while it's fun, it doesn't captivate you and keep you like wanting to watch. Like you almost feel like you could kind of be doing something in the background while this movie's going on. Not to the point where it's bad. It's even great at times. It just doesn't have that kick, that oomph that Infinity War had, because there's no main villain really. I do like what happens between Hawkeye and Black Widow. They go to get the Soul Stone, and they each want to sacrifice themselves to get the stone, and she ends up doing it. And it's a really cool scene. Scarlett Johansson does a great job, and I like that they kill her character off, that they kill some of the main Avengers off here. They get rid of some of the main ones. That's cool. They end up getting all the stones. They come back to the future, back to the future. And when they get there, of course, the Thanos from the past is following them there, and he wants to get the stones all from them so he can have them all because they got them. And he's there, and they get into a big epic fight with Thanos. And, of course, Hulk has used the Infinity Gauntlet and brought back everyone. So they're all duking it out and fighting. And all at once, like, everybody else shows up from portals. And Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and everybody's back. And you get this really awesome battle. And Captain America's, like, standing there with all these characters. And he's like, Avengers Assemble, from the comics. He's finally said it after Lord knows how many movies. It was really cool to finally hear him, Chris Evans, say that, and he does a great job here. All the acting is fine. It's great. Good to great. I mean, some of the side characters, it's not that the acting's bad on them. They're just not as interesting, of course. And they're all duking it out. Captain Marvel shows up and whoops some ass. She gets in a fight with Thanos. Thanos takes her out. Scarlet Witch, decimates Thanos in a fight, though, when she shows up to get revenge for Vision's death from Infinity War. And he ends up taking her out, though, by having his ship, blast him and his own troops, and it, blows her away. That was cool. She was kicking his ass. And they start fighting, and you get to the point where Captain America actually lifts Mjolnir, the hammer, and he starts fighting Thanos with it. And I like how he's using the combination of his shield and the hammer. It's really cool. They built up like Captain America being able to lift the hammer in Avengers Age of Ultron. That's one thing I like about these Marvel movies, is they will build stuff up in previous flicks and not pay it off until a couple movies later. That's a good idea. That's cool. I enjoy that out of this franchise. Of all the mainstream franchises, the MCU is probably the most cohesive in terms of overall quality and just characters and everything. And Iron Man steps in, and he gets in a fight with Thanos, and Thanos thinks he's won. He's getting ready to snap his fingers, but nothing happens. It's pretty funny, actually. He looks on him, and all the stones are gone, and Iron Man has got them in his hand, and he snaps them. And he undoes pretty much the ending. He pretty much redoes the ending of Infinity War, except now it's all Thanos' troops and Thanos himself that turn to ash. And that was a really poetic way to take the character out, and I like that. Now, after that, pretty much because the Infinity Stones are so powerful, it's caused Iron Man to basically die from his wounds. And it's a really sad scene. And Pepper Potts is there, and she was fighting alongside Iron Man. And that was cool seeing them together. She's got her own metal suit. And she's there while he's dying. And it's really sad. I'll be honest, I almost shed a tear for Robert Downey Jr. dying at the end of this film. It was really epically sad. I do appreciate the balls to kill off another main character, especially one that's pretty much been the head of the MCU, really. I mean, Brie Larson, she works as a side character, but the head of the MCU going forward, Kevin Feige, brother, I don't know. You're going to have your work cut out for you, homie. But, yeah, and he dies. It's really sad. And they have his funeral and everything, and I felt real sorry for his daughter. One interesting thing about having the daughter there is you could, in the future, later films, have her show up as like a new Iron Man, and that's probably what they'll do, something like that. And yeah, it's really sad that he's gone. And then the Infinity Gems have to be took back into the alternate realities that they came from, or the past. I mean, this goes by like the Back to the Future 2 timeline of time travel. I mean, where you go back in time, you change something. You don't change your own future. You change the future of that timeline. You create a new timeline. So basically, they're going to go back in time. Captain America is returned the Infinity Stones, and he goes back in time, and then he shows up as an old man, and he gives the Captain America shield to the Falcon, which was cool. To pass it on to him to be Captain America, and you find out basically that he has stayed back in time to be with Peggy Carter of a alternate timeline, to be with her. So and you get to see them dancing at the end, and so it really brings home like full circle the feeling of the franchise as a whole. And honestly, the films could just end here, really. One plot hole though at the end is like, how the hell did Captain America jump from his timeline that he was in to back to the alternate future that he came from? How the hell did he jump from one to the other? They don't explain it. I guess that can be saved for if they want to do a Captain America 4 later on down the road, which I don't think they will. Maybe they'll just explain it in a throwaway scene or something. But yeah, all in all, this is a 3.5-star film. It's pretty good. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.